I made a comment as many times I do. I make comments on other posts that fucking blow up. And I am so proud of this morning. I woke up to
we
this.
should just follow you for our smoking posts, our smoking socials segment.
Right, yeah. I should just talk.
What did Dee say this week on what post?
What comment did she drop that made everybody go crazy? So what's up? What's up? What's up? We're back. I'm Sunny D.
And I'm Captain J. And we're the Pot Smoking Moms.
Hey, if you're here and you enjoy our show, please do us a solid and rate, subscribe, share all of our, or share one of our channels.
Share our shit.
Anything. And be friends with us on all our social media platforms. PotSmokingMoms.com is our website. All of the socials is there. I'm kind of over social media right now.
Oh my God,
I know. Maybe we'll talk about that a little later, but you can catch us there. We are definitely smoking. Hopefully you at home have something to smoke.
Yeah, so if you got it, light it up. Join us with a little sesh.
Yay.
Because I know I'm ready to sesh. We just did an interview before this, and the whole time I was like, I want to sesh, but I'm really enthralled into this conversation.
We have a really
right
good interview coming up.
That will be on a future episode.
Yeah.
But I'm actually smoking some Cap Junkie, which is a new Cresco brand strain from Sunnyside.
Nice.
I found the name interesting because isn't like no cap like a thing?
No
like
cap.
No cap means like they lie or something, or they're not lying.
No cap
What's
means like no cap. Like I'm being honest. I'm being truthful.
So
no
cap junkie, what am I like? Is it a compulsive liar?
I don't know. That is a really weird twist on the slang. Maybe smoke a couple of those and then
let's
think
see if
about
I become a compulsive liar.
I'm also smoking Cresco flower from Sunnyside as well. I got a little bit of red pop. It was suggested by our friends at Sunnyside. No, by our friends, social media friends.
Right. That's right.
From Sunnyside. So if you got some, I have it packed in my little bowl. I brought my bowl today. Here we go. Cheers.
I rolled a J. Cheers. Ding. I've been staying away from the bongs lately because I've been coughing a lot. I know smoking paper is not probably not good, but since you're taking smaller hits, it's not making me like cough up too much, you know? Even if I take a small hit off the bong, I find myself like...
Nice.
Have you seen that on TikTok? The mullein? It's like an herb, or like you can make a tea of it, and it helps you clear your lungs of all like... If you're a smoker, it helps with that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok.
What is it? A tea?
Like you can make a tea with it, but there's like extracts that you can take also. Mullein, I think it's called. I've been enjoying this strain. The buds look really good. It smells really good. This one tastes a little less, but like I'm not a fan of like a grassy taste.
Yeah, I have there's another strain that I have that I wanted to give mad props to. I smoked it all. It's a sativa though, so I was kind of like I bought it because it was like Oreo Blizzard. I was like, oh, I love Oreo Blizzard. I love the sound of that.
That sounds amazing.
And it smells good. It smokes great. It's a sativa, but it's nice. I didn't really, I used it during the day because I was like, let me just keep it during the day. And it was fantastic as well.
I mean, we've kind of learned that sativa, indica,
right,
has kind of lost its
interchangeable
meaning. Yeah, what I liked about the dispensary I visited in Brooklyn is that all their strains had the terpenes listed on the things.
We always talk about that. There's only few dispensaries that have it on their jars, like Rise does it.
But they had it like on the menu so you could see.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I think they're including that a little more and more now because I have seen it a little more, but that is a great thing to also include.
Yeah.
We will be talking about that later, right? Terps.
I think a little bit with Andrea, she talks about putting into her chocolate and stuff like that. And then in the article that we're reading, it talks about full spectrum compared to
Right.
just high THC.
Yeah.
But we have the Halloween bud crawl coming up.
Yeah, guys, tickets are still on sale if you haven't gotten yours yet. Super low price of $7.10 still.
If you went to the website and it was not giving you the option to buy a ticket, we fixed that. There was the wrong date put in for the ending of the sales. So sales are open. You can get your ticket. Come on the bud crawl with us. Wear your Halloween costume. Let's celebrate Halloween. Smoke some weed.
Yes. I've been throwing some Halloween costume ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. But we have a couple of ideas in
Or
mind.
tell us what you're going to be for Halloween. I
Yeah.
love hearing other people's ideas.
For shizzle.
Speaking of Halloween, I think I'm not going to do my annual Halloween party this year. And I'm really bummed about it.
Yeah. Halloween is like serious business around here.
Yeah. And it's like my happy time. I get most excited about doing that. And plus, like, I don't get to see our friends that often. So doing the Halloween party has always been a way where
together.
I see friends that I don't see all year, but they'll come to the Halloween party.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of really bummed, but like we're on a budget constraint. So
Oh, I feel you.
yeah, things are expensive, and I have Julian's turning 10 this month also, so I need to do something for him.
Yeah.
So that has to take priority.
Yeah,
it's his 10th birthday. It's like the big 10, 2 digits, 2 whole like
How
hands.
are you feeling?
I can't believe he's turning 10.
I know.
I can't believe it's been that long. Like I can't believe. And I told him he could get a phone at 10, and I'm starting to regret that.
Oh no.
Because he's been asking for years.
Hey, bro, my 6-year-old's asking. She's like, when I turn this, and I'm like, yeah, man, please hold it.
What age did you tell her? Have you given her an age?
I think she said 15 at first.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
There's no way she's gonna wait till 15. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like at a certain point, you want them to have it just so you can easily contact them and track where they are. Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true. You just don't want them to get distracted by it so early, because God knows I'm distracted by it constantly.
Just because he's getting a phone doesn't mean I'm going to allow him to have social media or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say, that's
you could restrict
a big
all that.
Time, no, yeah. And I would even suggest they go on there.
No social media. Too young for social media. Way too young. I mean, the most social media he has is that he watches YouTube.
Right.
And he has his Discord server with his friends, which I'm always going in there to make sure he's not joining any servers he shouldn't be in and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. We monitor it. But yeah, he's literally on Discord all the time with his friends. Sometimes I got to be careful. Like, are you like, because he'll just have them
recording, like on the video?
They may not have their video on, but they're in the voice channel. So they could hear each other. Okay. And so sometimes I'll walk in his room and tell him something, and I don't realize he has his friends there. So I could be like, because we watched last night the new Haunted Mansion movie.
Oh, how was that?
It was really cute. We really enjoyed it. It had a great cast. There's so many actors in it.
Hey, I got Disney Plus for a couple of things. I got Disney Plus again for that movie, because I saw Lakeith Stanfield and Rosario Dawson doing a bunch of promos for it.
They're both in it. Yeah.
And I've always wanted them to reimagine, because I was like, the last Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy was like,
I didn't see it.
It was entertaining, but it was not they could do better. When I saw this guy was in it, Lakeith Stanfield, I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
So we got it for that, and then Loki started. Did you start seeing?
I haven't started watching Loki yet. It just came back.
Oh my god! I want to watch the first season again, just to watch it again.
I feel like I need to do that because it's been so long, and I remember loving it, but I don't remember everything.
They do a recap, which helps.
Yeah,
but I really would love to rewatch that because it's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a big Marvel person or anything, but I thought that show was so cool. Fantastic. And it's witty. It's pretty cheeky. So,
but speaking of that actor, you know actors' names, the guy you just
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes, he's in that show Changeling. The Changeling.
Oh yeah. Well, that show sounds really. That's the one with Juliette Lewis and all of those people.
No, Juliette Lewis is not in it.
Oh. Okay,
I don't even know any of the other
Christina Ricci one. That's the other one you guys are watching.
No, that was Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets.
No, this is a new show that just came out on Apple TV. The season finale is about to come out. It's like a mind fuck though, because like this last episode that we watched,
I saw it's on Apple TV. I think I saw a trailer for it. It's like kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
She looks cool.
Ow!
You just burn yourself with your eloquently rolled J. Listen, you guys. prior to recording, Jay's been rolling a lot of J's. And she rolled such a nice J that I had to stop our conversation and like admire it. And it was pretty beautiful. It burned you now because you gave it its own mind.
No, because I don't know what I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we got Disney Plus. I'm gonna watch that movie.
Do it.
This past weekend, I hit up Sunnyside and I went with one of our friends, my neighbor Jenny. It was great. It was awesome. The whole experience was great. Everybody there was super nice. They had some bomb ass prices, and they hooked us up with some codes for some more discounts.
Nice.
And so, we pretty much went over there and we got a weed haul. I'm not gonna show you guys because, like, whatever. I'm not gonna do that. It's gone. Almost all of it's gone, anyways.
Most of it's smoked.
Yeah, but it was great up until my car didn't start. Which, girl, Sunday started off so fantastic and ended off so terrible.
So how'd you get home?
So as soon as I started trying to do the car, I was like, fuck, like, all right, I'll call an Uber. So I got the Uber and took the Uber back. And then it was football Sunday football, where like a big half of your day is just watching football. Mm-hmm. So Robert was watching football and we were home chilling. And after the football game, Robert's like, I'm going to go pick up the car or whatever. I'm going to go over there and whatever. So he went over there to call a tow truck, to have the tow truck come bring the car to us. And in all of that, it started raining, pouring, and we flooded for a third time.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember when you texted me.
And I hate to text it because I don't want to trauma dump and like, I got to tell these fucking people. And I feel like such a fucking clown because I'm like, well, what is this?
It's out of your control.
I know. Well,
there's no reason to feel like a clown.
It's so crazy.
And sometimes you got to let it out.
Yeah, and in the midst of it, you're just like,
how is this happening again?
Yes. So
you just had your roof fixed. You thought the problem was fixed.
Right. And think about this. I'm still working on the inside of my house from the first flood. I haven't even replaced any of that stuff. I haven't even replaced most of my rugs because I'm like, everything needs to be done. We need to be cool for me to like feel relaxed and ready to like just chill and like put my rugs down. I feel like the rugs and the blankets are like the thing that ties your house together. Bro, can you imagine if I would have gotten a huge living room rug and that shit would have been underwater? So I'm glad I haven't gotten that stuff, but at the same time, like three floods in the span of like 8 months. I was telling you earlier, like 2023 feels like 5 years. I don't know if there's anybody else out there.
3 times in
Yes, and then now trying to figure something out to make it, because water's coming into one part of the house and it doesn't even need to flood for that to happen. So we need to figure that out before we throw new floor. Oh my God, it's just like it's
a lot.
It's a lot. And right now there's a lot of things, moving parts. We're trying to fix things and I'm trying to put the little one in school because I have a job that I got to be ready for my job and all that stuff. You know, I was really psyched because I'm like, I get a new office for my new job. So, but like, that's
you need a proper space to work. Like, that's important.
Yeah. So I'm trying hard. And hopefully we'll figure something out. We're trying to even because it's just crazy. You never think of like the architecture of the building and like how the water and like, I was out there talking to your husband about like, he's like, oh, well, was it just because you have the atrium? Like, right. It's like an indoor patio. And I'm like, well, it's a variety of problems because for starters, it has rained in the way that it's rained here this year has been astronomical. It's been really
a lot.
I hate the word unprecedented because the shit sounds so annoying to me. It's one of those like icky words to me.
Why?
But I don't know. It sounds very like conceited and like whatever, pretentious. But it's been like when it's unprecedented. It's like I feel like I'm artisan. That word is stupid as fuck. I hate artisan. And every time
I almost spit my water.
That's
What?
another. I have a
Artisan
list.
pisses you off?
Yeah, I have a list of words that get under my skin. An artisan is one of them, and unprecedented is another.
Oh
But
my
anyways, yes. When it decides to rain, it's like the sky opens up and then all this water comes out. So it's like hard to. It's a problem with the way the water evacuates and the way the amount of water coming in. So it's like a combination of things. I've never ever had to think of like rain in a way where it's like, oh, you got to get ahead of the rain. You got to think like before the rain gets there, how to avoid that problem. And it's just like,
And all the walls of the atrium are all internal walls. There's nothing facing to the outside where you can like put in a hole to help drain the water out. Because like the left side is your room, the right side is the girl's room, the front is your
It's
kitchen, and the back is probably your neighbor. The back wall, is it your neighbor, or is it outside?
outside, right? So it's like this: the front of your house, the back of your house, and it's one building that goes straight down like that, like a domino, and then it's just divided.
No, but I'm just talking about the atrium, right?
Oh, the atrium,
walls of the
right? The
atrium.
walls of the atrium.
The front
What is
wall
a neighbor?
is a sliding, yeah. So it is a neighbor. So there's no external on the outside of any of those walls. So you can't put like a drain to drain out the water.
That is what we're working on. We're talking to the guys who are helping us with the inside of the house. We had to plan after this third flood. We had to organize the order of how we got to do the work in the house. So now the idea is to do kind of what you're saying, where it's like dig in the center, the earth. Because right now we have like sand and we put pavers down, but we also feel that that's kind of stopping the water from absorbing into the earth fast enough.
Yeah.
This is so, I hope people, if you could fast forward through this, if you don't want
we'll cut it
to break it into pieces.
It's patrons only.
Yeah, right. But like we're trying to put, what they want to do is they want to do like this thing called a French drain.
A French drain.
Where they open it up, they put rock, they put like a sheet, they put rock, and then they put drains so that the water kind of has a reservoir to go through, so it has more space to sit in and then get absorbed directly into the earth.
Yeah.
Right?
So
sense. I mean, it kind of makes sense. My brain has kind of trouble wrapping my it's a little hard for me because I'm like, well, it's like you're just putting more stuff there. I don't know. I start complicating it.
I mean, engineers know.
Right. I mean,
like whoever, like who's the person.
Yeah, these guys are like just construction dudes. That's why it's like I'm trying to figure it out mentally too, so that I can like see what they're seeing and like just know, okay, this sounds like
legit.
It'll work.
I'm not gonna pay an extra whatever to put a French drain in, and I
exactly, because that's always another problem too as a homeowner. Like you want to do something to help resolve the problem, but sometimes too, like this is a thing where like
you try to resolve something and it causes another problem,
or you try to figure out what the problem, like you don't want to pay too much for some bullshit you can handle yourself, right? And that's the thing I was telling my neighbor. I was like, oh, we're gonna get on the roof today. I told you guys, so we're gonna get a roof today and we're gonna try to like see if the drain's working, which it worked, but I don't know, if I would like to put a camera in there, like what? Like, and what is that gonna do? Is that really going to alleviate the rest of all the water ponding and then like falling into the atrium?
I don't know, but I really hope your house does not flood again. And then
on the next episode,
we'll find out.
We'll find out whether the French fucking drain. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
Some people are putting something over it. I feel like that's another undertaking.
What are your neighbors doing for their? I mean,
one of them seems to be putting plexiglass over that opening.
Oh, to stop any water even going into the atrium.
Yeah, but then you think about like, how is that being done?
Where's that water gonna go?
You can't just slap a fucking coaster over the top of it and be like
a skylight of the atrium, like a skylight on the atrium.
Yeah, you got to do it right. I don't know what.
Obviously, they would have to do it right,
but
that water would then just spill over the atrium and go outside.
Who knows, bro?
Which is,
Nature does what nature wants.
If anybody listening to this actually has some knowledge on water
Yeah.
drainage,
Oh my God.
I'm sure how many moms like,
Yo, I gotta tell you
Where
this.
were they
I was
working?
on the computer researching, like, what can we do? How can I solve the drain issue? Go on the top. We have another type of drain, but the thing is the slope on the side of our roof doesn't allow for the water to get that high to drain that way before it starts cascading into our atrium. So it is just a fucking
shit show.
Fun. We're figuring it out though. So stay tuned for the I
If
should
you're
start
still
our own
here,
like
thank
home
you.
home renovation show.
People, this is content people like to see on TikTok because they
Yeah.
might be going through the same thing.
Yeah. And then Robert was like,
The world's flooding, guys.
videotape footage of this flood. And I'm like, Robert, I have 2 videos from the prior floods and they're the same video. People are gonna be like, at this point.
Did those videos or anything help when you were trying to get your claims and shit done?
No,
they don't even want to see that.
They don't care. They're like, just list it. We send somebody.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, we're all hoping you get this resolved soon.
Have me in your prayers, guys.
Yes. Give some positive.
However
send some
you
positive
pray.
advice to
However
me.
you pray. I got the sage by the door.
And whoever's giving the man de ojo this causing all this.
Mira, vete pa la mierda. Déjame tranquila. Please.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, special thanks to our patrons and everyone that's actually still here listening.
Hey, you guys, we love you.
We appreciate you. If you're not a patron, check it out. We have a bunch of additional perks there. We have our Discord channel. You get extra content. So check it
Sash, we spark
we
up
sash
every
pretty regularly.
once in a while.
We watch right now.
regularly.
We're like 2 days a week watching some shows.
Yeah.
Like now our finales are coming. Like, what's next? What are we gonna watch next, guys? What else is coming out?
Yes, I know. I hear you.
I think we're talking about watching Found next together, which is
great. I love it. I got a lot going on
You have
right
2
now.
little ones,
Maybe in
and I
a
love
few
it.
years I'll catch up to all you guys. But I am trying to
But you
survive.
pop in when you can.
Please, I'm trying to just swim
She's
right
swimming
now.
in her house.
I'm like, every time I see you guys getting
Just
together for
keep
shows, I'm like,
swimming, just keep
oh,
swimming.
I love you guys. But throw the lifesavers at me. I'm drowning over here. Hey, if you can become a patron, that's cool. You can also rate this episode or any episode, review on Apple Podcasts. We would love that. That would be Chef's Kiss. Share our podcast. We love when you do that. And look, if you do any of that and you want some stickers and stuff, hit us up.
And now we're going to segue to a segment that we left out last week and we missed very much.
But it's back this week.
Let's go. News Nugs,
where we get high and read weed news to you.
Well, I saw this article pop up and I was like, this is interesting. We all like, I thought it was like whole flower, but it's not. It's like live rosin, like full spectrum live rosin compared to like pure THC. So when I thought the entourage effect, I thought automatically like flower.
Yeah, because everything is there though.
Yeah. And so it is also in like live rosin and like full spectrum products. But I don't know. I went to flower first, but after reading it, I realized, okay, it's not flower, but full spectrum. So basically, a new study by researchers associated with Zentrella and Pax found out that the entourage effect of multiple psychoactive effects what?
You kind of skipped one there.
Oh, I skipped a line of multiple cannabinoids and terpenes. I'll start that over.
Yeah, do it.
A new study by researchers associated with Zentrella and Pax found that the entourage effect of multiple cannabinoids and terpenes caused twice the psychoactive effects than products holding only a high in delta 9 THC. The study used EEG technology to measure psychoactive effects. The research team from Zentrella theorized that the combined synergy of many cannabinoids and terpenes are the real indicator of potency versus THC alone. And EEG technology is the key to proving it. And I feel like we've heard this a lot with
we've talked
all the
about this
people we've
before.
interviewed.
Right. Scientists,
doctors.
And they can confirm that the terpenes are kind of where it's at.
Yeah, and it's like the whole entourage effect of all the things together that are really the most beneficial. So apparently it's also the most psychoactive, according to this research.
Entourage effects versus only THC effects. So the researchers use EEG data, which I'd like to see like what the methodology for the EEG.
EEGs are like when they measure your brain waves, right?
I thought EKG. Our producer Jesse will confirm for us the data.
So researchers use, go ahead.
The EEG data to quantify the psychoactive effects of cannabis, including onset time and maximum strength. Maximum Derek. They consumed Pax's live rosin with natural diamonds and high purity THC cannabis products.
Okay.
Researchers observed 28 participants who vaped full spectrum or pure THC concentrates with a Pax Era Pro device.
They gotta throw that in there.
To believe that this is very
well. The researchers is legit like independent researchers, but they like this was it funded by Pax?
Oh look, so we got the Uncle Jesse throwing up the facts here.
Okay,
for
both
us.
ECG and EKG. Well, but was it ECG?
No, he goes on keep it. Yeah, refer to a test of the heart. While what we're talking about here, EEG is a test of the brain.
See, it is the brain waves.
Nice.
Interesting.
So after consuming the products produced by the people doing the study, which makes me kind of sus, as they say. Researchers observed 28 participants who vaped. Yeah, we said that. They found that the two of the products had very different effects despite having similar Delta 9 THC potencies. Full spectrum products with more than double the psychoactive experience than distillate products are due to the entourage effect. Consumers looking for psychoactive effects typically shop for cannabis products based on THC.
Yeah, they're like, what's the highest THC?
Exactly. We've experienced that in the dispensaries.
I mean, you still like to know what the THC level is,
right?
And I feel like when I ask what are the THC percent, like they automatically assume I want the highest one they have available.
Well, they can only go by what the status quo is.
Yeah, exactly.
For the people that will go into the store.
Yeah.
Consumers looking for psychoactive effects typically shop for cannabis products based on THC, but full spectrum products with a full range of terpenes and cannabinoids have a more profound impact on the onset and ultimate cannabis experience.
Yeah, this is really feeling like this, like studies is like, yeah, just buy our full spectrum products.
Try it. Take an EEG. See how you feel.
Yeah, so measuring brainwave activity. That's right. See that? Yeah, I remembered that from reading it before. Zentrela's non-invasive portable EEG device recorded data from 8 brain regions before and after vaping. Zentrela is a company. Here we have this.
Yeah, I like your museum. Okay. You switch up to museum.
So yeah, here we have the chart. See, the live rosin is the blue line, and then the high purity THC. So like distillate, it's just THC, like isolate, and then the live rosin, which is like full spectrum. Like where it's pressed directly from the plant, usually fresh. They take the plant fresh and freeze dry it immediately, so it's always fresh when they're creating the rosin. Not freeze dry, but like freeze it. They see in the chart, it's obviously.
I wonder if freezing the weed freezing the bud has something to do with like. It's just to maintain the crystals from like coming off of the bud too, right? Because that's like, man, that's degradation when you find your bud and it's like doesn't have any much crystals left.
Yeah. And it's mostly just to keep, because instead of like doing the drying out process, because rosin is basically weed pressed, right, with like heat, and when you just see it ooze out and they capture that. With live rosin, I believe they just take the plants fresh. There's no like drying process like where it cures.
Oh, brought to you by Zentrela.
No, Zentrela is the independent.
Oh, because the EEG device is made by Zentrela.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking. But Pax is the company here,
right? Pax is the product they're testing.
So it says Zentrela is a company founded by Israel Gasparian, is an independent research organization that utilizes novel, non-invasive neural technology to accurately and objectively quantify and classify the effects of cannabis products created for consumers.
Yeah, Zentrela's like, give me your products and I'll test them. What? I'll make these beautiful graphs.
Yeah. I don't know what this research is really telling us, but I found that article on both High Times. That one's particular is the one we just summarized. Is High Times, but I also saw it on Marijuana Moment.
Yep.
and I saw people talking about it online.
Yep. I don't know, man. I get skeptical when I see like,
It feels like, oh, buy our full
right.
spectrum.
Are we
live
tested
rosin.
higher in the okay, yeah, all right.
I feel like we all knew that the like the entourage effect is where it's
Yeah,
at.
we've talked about that in the past.
But to me, that's just smoking the flower.
Yeah.
Live rosin is great too. Rosin's great. If actually out of all the concentrates, rosin is my favorite.
Yeah, rosin's nice. But I don't smoke it enough to be like, man.
No, I don't at all.
Yeah.
I did at the beginning when we were first getting into this podcast. I was like, let's see what we can.
And then we're like,
it's just it smells and tastes.
Oh, it does really. It really.
good.
Well, especially when you got a fresh new piece
so good
for your fresh new rosin.
Very good.
I also feel like it's really expensive, and it's not.
It is
such,
expensive.
Like,
it is expensive.
A treat.
A treat. Remember when we interviewed Jenny?
Oh yes.
And she came over and she brought her
the little.
We were smoking rosin the whole night. She literally was having that shit packed and passed the whole interview. Miss her.
Miss her.
Here's a new segment that we're trying. We brought it the last episode. We're calling it Smoking Socials. We came up with the name after the last episode with Uncle Jesse. And so basically this is going to be our segment where we find those interesting topics online. What was it?
We turn our internet addiction into content for you.
Those smoking posts. We find those smoking posts and we share them with you guys, and we give our opinions on what.
Yeah, we talk about them. This was a really good one. Is that me?
Yeah, you're good.
I asked my husband if he ever gets dad guilt.
We all know we all suffer from mom guilt.
We all always, even when we go out, we talk about how guilty we feel for having fun. And this goes, I asked my husband if he ever gets dad guilt, and he said, no, never. I don't even know what that would feel like. Are you kidding me? I get the worst mom guilt pretty much every day. My newborn isn't gaining weight fast enough. I don't validate my toddler's big feelings often enough. I haven't bonded with my newborn because I want to stay attentive to my toddler. I haven't spent enough time with my toddler because I'm too busy feeding the tiny newborn who can't gain weight. I have to go back into work in January. Ugh, I feel you, girl.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which means I won't spend as much time with either kid as I'd like. I yelled at my son too much when he was little. I let my newborn cry for too long while I finished pumping. I let my newborn cry for too long in the morning when I was getting out of bed. She sounds like she can take a hit of our bong, right?
Yeah, I think she needs some cannabis.
Yeah, we should tell her, hey, come hang out with us.
I can relate to all these thoughts.
Yeah. I don't do enough active stuff with my toddler because of the fact that I'm always baby wearing the newborn. The list goes on. And I asked my husband if he could relate to any of this since we do about the same amount of childcare.
Okay, so he's involved.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's involved. And he's just like, no, LOL. I guess it helps that every boomer we know who sees us both parenting goes on and on about what an amazing dad he is because he spends time with his kids, but never says a word to me about feeding a newborn 12 times a day while doing arts and crafts with a toddler and baby wearing constantly while recovering from a C-section. Jeez.
Oh my God, here.
That's just the bare minimum, I guess. Edit, just to be clear, I do think my husband is a good dad. I just find the double standard really absurd. And it's interesting. This comes up regularly. I see stuff on, I follow this lady on TikTok that was the lady who introduced to me the term, wait a minute, what's the term?
Mom guilt?
No, not mom guilt, but weaponized incompetence.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And she a lot of times talks about the relationship between the dad and how he's glorified for just changing a diaper when the mom is like in it like 90% more than the dad is.
Like they're glorifying a dad for just being a parent.
Right.
For like just doing what we both do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 10 times more.
But they're coming from a background where it's like
the
previously
boomers.
men weren't as involved.
Right.
That was the woman's job, or they had to work more because they're providing. And a lot of those roles have obviously changed. And
yeah, and even just the community around your family
standard is definitely still there.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it's like, oh yeah, you're just a mom. You're doing what you're supposed to. You're not a mom that's killing it and you're a great mom. But like if a dad does just as much, it's like, oh my God, that dad is super dad. Like
right. It's like
so involved.
there's a
You're so
meme.
lucky, girl, that you got him.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
You're like, dude,
every
I
dad
do
should
the
want to be
dishes
this involved.
everything. Yeah. Right. But like there's a really great meme out there of Macho Man Randy Savage where like he's with his girl, whoever his girl was at the time, beautiful model, whatever, and they're like parading him on like on like a thing on like an altar, and then like he gets up and he's like, yeah, and it's like every time a dad does something we do 50 times a day, and we're like, yeah.
So the comments were a mix of things. I noticed like there's some people that immediately identified with this because I thought about it. I was like, does my husband have dad guilt? I think my husband has dad guilt.
Yeah, and I immediately thought the same. I was like, I really think my husband has dad guilt. I've heard him say stuff to me before.
Exactly.
And I've been
heard
like,
him
well,
express it.
Right.
So I went over and I asked him, at first he was like, what do you mean? And I explained like kind of like mom guilt that I've had.
Right.
And he's like, oh, 100% all the time. Like every time. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I, raising my kid right? Like all these things. So I was like, yeah, I guess it depends on the father.
Right. And I feel like it's different. It manifests differently for men than it does for women.
They might be different guilts.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So here are some of the ladies that identified immediately. So she's like, I know my husband will say the same without even asking. So she's already assuming like her husband definitely has no dad guilt.
You're gonna be like, what? What's that? Mine would probably assume I'm criticizing him. Maybe I am. Oh, wow. This lady turning it right back around on herself.
So absolutely. Mine too. Actually, I don't think my husband has ever felt guilty about anything, but that's probably for a different sub.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, man. I like this one. And I thought it was interesting. She said, sometimes I do think that they say what they just say that they don't feel stuff, even though they do.
Yeah.
It's not tremendously helpful, obviously, but the societal pressure on men is to be stoic and unflappable. He might be ironically having dad guilt about admitting to his own fallibility, hence not being able to say that he has dad guilt.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand this last line that she wrote. Do you understand?
Whenever my husband goes, don't even know what you're talking about, methinks the gentleman doth protest too much, radar starts going off.
Methinks the gentleman doth protest too much, radar starts going off. What does that line mean?
Like right, like he puts up a front about like he doesn't know what you're talking about because either A, he doesn't know how to verbalize it, or B, he has this society has told him that
you can't feel that way.
Honestly, too, when it comes to men and women, I feel like ladies are more. We talk more. We kind of like we talk about things amongst ourselves to work things out. It's commonly used to imply that someone who denies something very strongly is hiding the truth. Right.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like they don't really want to trauma dump or whatever. They want to keep it inside and not really whatever. Everybody has a level of comfortability with talking about stuff. And guys usually by regular society, they're often told like, no, that's a girl thing. You don't talk about your feelings. You don't like, that's not. What they say at bars, they have so many TVs everywhere because it helps guys not have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, things are changing a little bit. I think where our generation is starting to say, hey, no, that's fucking stupid. Guys are allowed to have feelings and express their feelings because then when they hold them in, it could turn into something very unhealthy. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think that's.
And then there were comments from other ladies that said, yeah, for sure. My, I think I'm on the wrong one. This was, here we go. So this comment's funny. Go to Reddit Daddit.
Okay,
we're in the moment. No, this is the same conversation. There's more comments. It's fucking night and day what they talk about versus the mess of this mess of a sub, comparing Mommet to Daddit. No crying over their wives not helping enough. No concern about the play date logistics. It's the best example, the difference between the parents.
Okay.
So I popped into Daddit and I looked around and I saw some, I didn't see obvious things of dad
It
guilt.
wasn't broken down the same way that a lady would break it
But yeah,
down
they
here,
have
but they
their
had other
own
kind of
perspective on things. But and that's what the next commenter says. They're like, I've seen plenty of dad guilt posts on there, but it's not the same kind of guilt as mom's experience. Like you said, it doesn't tend to be about the lack of support or huge mental load. It's more about feeling guilty over not being present enough or unable to help their partner feel better or whatever, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, they're working all day while you're like, the moms are with the kids all day. And then they're exhausted for coming home from work and they feel bad that they missed time with their kid.
Right. And then they're like tired.
Yeah.
They want to still be a part of, well, it's
And that's
understandable.
just, yeah.
Somebody else, somebody else asked, what do they
about?
talk about? And then the next person says anything and everything, but 85% of it is just sharing the joy of fatherhood. The other 15% is familiar to this sub, gripes about spouses, bedroom issues, hating on in-laws, double standards in society, mental health issues, etc. But the tone of the sub is generally quite supportive to both partners, not just other dads, and uplifting. It's legit one of the few bright spots on Reddit for me. Oh, I wonder if that, I wonder if that mom subscribes to both the mom it and the dad it threads to just,
it sounds like she's in there often.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting to compare the both.
I found this comment funny, so I had to put it in. Wanting more sex, mostly. I jest, but only partially. That's by far the most common complaint post. His husband's complaining about about wanting more sex.
Why'd I know that'd be that? As if we weren't exhausted enough. They just talked about in this thread, like, we're doing a bunch of stuff.
The mental load of being a mother, because like even when you're not with your kids, you're literally thinking about all the things you need to do for them, or what, about what you're going to do when you get home to make sure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially as a working mom, I'm working all day, but I'm also thinking about, okay, when I get home.
Well, yeah, because you're a human being who has things they got to fucking do. I should have fucking posted this on this topic. Now that we're talking about it, I made a comment on a post. I started following a couple of Instagram accounts about, primarily this one Instagram account that's talking about the childcare crisis.
Oh my God.
Okay. Because childcare is expensive. When people talk about like that percentage of moms that had to leave the workforce to take care of the kids, a lot of times people are like, that's a privilege. That's a privilege. Sometimes it's not a privilege and it's a necessity, because me working somewhere and having to pay for daycare, it didn't make any sense.
It wasn't worth it.
And it was part of this search for jobs, okay, that I had to really contextual, like I had to put that into perspective for everyone and for myself, like saying, hey, some jobs I get offered might not make sense and I have to decline them, because what is it I'm gonna get paid to just enough to pay for childcare? That's fucking bonkers. And the fact that that's even something that happens here in America is insane to me.
It's just insane how expensive childcare is.
It is, and it's not getting any better. There was recent, a controversy about like things that were going to expire.
Yeah,
that was
federal
like
funding that helps subsidize the costs.
Exactly. I made a comment, as many times I do. I make comments on other posts that fucking blow up. And I am so proud of this morning. I woke up to
we
this.
Should just follow you for our smoking posts, our smoking socials segment.
Right, yeah. I should just talk.
What did Dee say this week on what post?
What comment did she drop that made everybody go crazy? So this post says this, okay? The post is, school days are incompatible with parents' work day 100%. And kids are not getting enough sleep.
Oh my God, it's so sad how early some kids have to get up to go to school, because the parent has to be at work at a certain time.
Yeah, and not only that, about how much time, this is a conversation that I've been having lately, how much time they spend at these places. Okay,
you don't need to be at school that long. You don't need
to be at school that long, and that's why I'm having a hard time finding a daycare, a place, a preschool for my 4-year-old, because, and then finding care to cover the buffer of time between 2:00 when my older kid gets out to my out time of 5:30. Like, what do I do with that time? Because I don't want to keep my kid in school. I don't judge anyone who has to keep their kid in school, because some people are forced to do that. I'm trying to figure out a way of like not having to keep them in school that long, because I feel like, especially as a preschooler, like I don't want them to have to be in there that long, because I just, you know what
I agree.
It's too long for a child to have to be in the care of someone else, you know. And so
then they would be going to aftercare after school.
Right, and spending the 8 hours, which is insane to me. How a school, right? So this post is trying to say like a school day and a work day doesn't make sense. They don't match. Like, what are we gonna do?
But that goes back to the 40-hour work week and how we shouldn't even be working 8-hour days.
There's a couple of different perspectives on this post. A lot of people are shunning. A lot of people have the perspective of like, oh, we should have programs for children after school that help them develop in different ways. And then I and other people are coming from the argument of like, we need to cut back on the work day to match the life of our children.
Yes.
So the comment that I made was this.
I agree with that side.
The workday needs to change to accommodate working families. I find it a joke that America tries to pride itself on family first ideals, yet completely abandons families. It's unsustainable. Okay, 156 likes. But this is the kicker. You remember Super Nanny? Do you remember the show Super Nanny?
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that show.
Well, Super
I never
Nanny.
watched it, but I know what existed.
Oh, I watched it. I mean, not like seriously, but I am very aware of it. I have watched quite a couple episodes. And Jo Frost, Super Nanny, endorsed my comment and put very true. And this morning I was like, oh my God, it's Super Nanny. But I was like, even Super Nanny endorses my comments.
I think most people do. And I agree. I think everyone can agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Like, there's no reason we even need to work a full 8 hours in the day.
Yeah.
We should be able to start a little later so kids don't have to get to school so early.
So early.
Yeah. And then we get out earlier so that we can pick up our own kids from school and spend the rest of the day with them and help them, you know,
right.
feed
And
them,
just
spend time with them, you know, homework, all that shit. But like, no, there's this 40-hour work week that like we have to abide by now.
Which it's
like,
the
whose
standard
idea
that was
that?
exactly.
And I saw content. I actually saw a TikTok about that. Like, when did the 40-hour work week originate? And it was like they said,
it was companies, it was corporations,
it was obviously companies. It said it all started like not the 40-hour work week, but when clocks came to be a thing, all of a sudden, like there was like you got to be at a place at a certain time.
Yeah,
it wasn't like when you're ready, you know. Right. And then before it was like maybe 4 or 6 hours people worked in a day. And then I think it was like when the wars happened and they had to have people working more, then it was at least a minimum of 8 hours
to supply the war.
Yeah. I got to find that video.
Yeah, we should have a whole a whole episode dedicated to that shit. But yeah, fuck the 40-hour work week.
And now there's 4-day work. Some places are doing 4-day work weeks.
Right. And that kudos to those companies.
There's schools that do that too. 4-day school weeks.
Kudos to the people working together to put that together. But like, yes. And this would alleviate part of any parental guilt. It would alleviate us of any not all parental guilt, obviously
you're still
but like this would really help us out and at least try to foster a community that encourages spending time with your children and spending time at home and not having to constantly be out grinding. That's another fucking cringe word for me, is like hustle. No, my job should pay me enough for me not to have to hustle. I should have hobbies. I should have stuff that I do for fun, not fucking side hustles. Like, please, I just, get out of that mind.
Well, congratulations on Super Nanny.
So congratulations to Pot Smoking Moms.
Oh, you did it under Pot Smoking Moms?
I was under Pot Smoking Moms.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, I tried to.
Followed us?
No, it wasn't that, She didn't follow us, but she agrees with us. Yay. Well, whatever. There was other people who were making the fucking a comment of like, oh, I'm from Canada and we got programs, that the kid can like, I guess it's kind of like an elective, like where you can like do programs, after school programs that kind of feed whatever, like, an extension. It's not just people watching your kids fucking have run
I was
around.
a latchkey kid. I mean, I did after care for a little while. Like depended. Sometimes I had to walk home and just be home alone, or sometimes I got to do
But
aftercare.
for like elementary.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I was home alone at elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the 90s, guys.
I know a lot of people, like a lot of the elder millennials, and even what is it, the generation, the small window generation before us is my sister's generation. They're like 50. They're not boomers, but they're like Generation X.
Yeah.
A lot of those people too were like latchkey kids.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was at home all the time. So,
but for our interview, we have a young.
We got a really great interview.
Yeah.
Should have told you that a million times.
Oh my goodness. We have a French award-winning cannabis-infused chocolatier and pastry chef, Andrea. I don't know if she says Andrea or Andrea. She's French. I would think
Andrea, right? P.
Gasc. We spoke to her. I saw her at Pretty High Club.
Mhm.
Yeah, her chocolates are so beautiful and delicious looking. She has very great ingredients. And then she does those like
They're
geometrical, like geometrical.
Chewing on gum at geometrical. You just need to like spin your hair on your finger.
Shaped chocolates, but airbrushed.
Yeah, I mean these things look like works of art. Yes. We're gonna get some of them chocolates in our mouths.
Yeah, and we're gonna actually have some in our advent calendar later this year for our cannabis advent calendars. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. I hope we enjoy the interview.
Here it is.
So glad we were finally able to connect. I know that we tried a couple times. You've been busy. You were out in France. You went to France?
Yes, I went for a month. I went to visit my family out there. I have the grandparents, the cousins, the aunts, everybody is over there. So it was nice to take a break and get to reconnect with them, you know.
So you're French, you're from France?
So family is French Moroccan. I was born in Miami, but I moved around a lot when I was young. But I've been back in Miami since middle school. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, tell us all about how you became a chocolatier and B&B pastries. Like, what made you decide to get into making edibles?
So it was my last year of high school. I was graduating high school early and I was doing online courses the first few months of the senior year. And I had a lot of free time. You know, I only had classes at the end of the day. So I had a family friend of mine who was a pastry chef that lived right next to my family's place who offered for me to be his assistant. So I started going early in the morning. I mean, they start usually around 3 in the morning. And he let me do everything that I wanted to. He taught me essentially all of the basics that I have now, you know. And I really, truly just found a love for it. I got to work with him for a good couple months. Finally, they caught on that I did not have like an internship or anything like that. So I had to stop working with him. But from there, I mean, I started working with other chefs. I started working in crêperies, like little crepe shops and stuff like that. And then I just started making pastries at home and selling them to friends. And one of my friends was in the cannabis business, and he absolutely loved it. And he asked me to make an edible for him, and so it worked out. I mean, he loved it. He started referring me to other friends of his, and yeah, I mean, I started at first. I was doing wholesaling to different people making pastries and stuff like that, which it was very good, the pastries, but I realized that the shelf life was just too short on them, and I couldn't really make a good profit off of pastries. So they started asking me to make chocolates, and so now it's been like 3-4 years that I've been making chocolates. At the beginning, it was definitely not what it is now. I mean, they were quite basic, just basic chocolates that lasted maybe a month or two. And now I've gotten it to the point where they last over 9 months, and they have the beautiful decorations on them and everything. I can airbrush them, I can paint them, I can add my nice touches, So yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, your chocolate's
So
actually very beautiful.
beautiful.
It looks like art.
Yes, it really does every time. How would you, what would you say makes yours stands out? Like what's the way that you infuse them?
So I infuse them with hash rosin, which is the highest quality concentrate on the market. I used to infuse them with Delta 8, but that was, I mean, essentially most edible makers in the business now use Delta 8, and it's just full of chemicals. A lot of the time it's cut with different other additives. It's not as powerful and as clean as hash rosin. But I've had nothing but good responses off of my hash rosin. I have the luck of getting tests off of my rosins as well, so I can calculate exactly how many milligrams I get per gram, and I can guarantee my clients exact dosage every time. A consistent results.
So when you're creating your edibles, what are your goals? Like what's your creative process? Because I really like the cookies and cream one, how you made it look like little cow print. I think that's adorable.
Well, yeah, so that was the original design of the cookies and cream. It was the cow print cookies and cream. After a while, I realized that it was taking me a long time. I was literally painting on each and every single cow print, and it was quite a timely process. I did update the design, so now it's like a ombre effect of black to white with some gold splatter on it. But I mean, I airbrush. I feel like that's the easiest way for me to get a nice clean canvas, and then from there I can add my touches of like finger painting or splatters, or every now and then I'll do like little hearts and stuff like this, because I just came out with one that's it's the Barbie bar, so it has a little gold heart on a pink and white chocolate bar, a little fun style to it. Yeah.
I love that. The Barbie bar.
Yeah.
Do you do like if somebody still wanted to get like do you do custom as well? Like any custom orders or only
It depends. If you order a minimum of 50 chocolate bars, then yes, I can definitely do custom orders, but I do make them in big batches. So I can't really do like just one or two. I do custom orders when it comes to cakes and pastries and stuff like that. So every now and then I do catering events, like cannabis catering events, or I actually got someone who wants me to do a cake for them for a cannabis wedding, which is actually pretty exciting.
awesome?
I'm very excited about that. But yeah, custom orders I don't do very often. The plan is to create a wholesale line of these chocolates, of these luxury chocolates, that I can at one point resell to dispensaries and to things like this. Sadly, it's not recreationally legal in Florida just yet.
Not
But
yet.
once it does, I'll be there to take that spot.
And what kind of chocolate do you use in the chocolate that you make?
It's a Belgium chocolate. It's the finest chocolate you can find on the market. That's definitely one reason why I think they taste very good compared to chocolates on the market at the moment. Is it's only the best quality ingredients is what I use when it comes to the infusion, when it comes to the painting process, the ganaches, the chocolate, everything has to be top of the top. I want my clients to have nothing but the best experience.
That's awesome. Have you ever considered getting to other type of chocolate edibles, not just cannabis? Now that we see a lot more legislation opening up the psychedelic market, and hopefully Florida will be getting that sometime soon as well. Have you ever considered expanding into that realm?
So actually, I'm very happy you asked. I'm working with a partner right now. We just received molds for a mushroom chocolate bar. We're in the process of creating packagings and everything like that. It's going to be very cute, a nice, elegant chocolate. Same kind of feel that it's going to be high end, good quality ingredients and infusion, but give it the mushroom side. I do see a big market with this, so I want to dive into it.
Yeah, I think there's a huge market in that, especially as people discover like microdosing, and you can like make the chocolate bars that have like small doses per square. People love that.
Yeah, agreed.
So tell
And by people, we mean
us and our listeners right now. I know I'd buy some.
Yeah, well, I mean, the partner that I'm working with actually sells mushroom chocolates himself, and the whole reason why we wanted to make our own line is we saw one, the inconsistency. We had clients coming back sometimes telling us that they were not feeling the same effects the first time as they did the second time trying it, for example, and that just the taste of mushroom chocolates, they can't seem to figure out a way to make it taste good and then give you the effects at the same time. So that's where we're coming in, and we're coming out with this chocolate bar that will taste amazing and then will also give you the effects. Yeah.
Yeah, taste is a big factor for me, especially like the texture and stuff, because I'm big on textures and stuff. So like if I can like if it's too much shroomy in there and it doesn't feel like creamy chocolate, I get kind of like grossed
Yeah.
out a little bit and I can't finish the piece of chocolate.
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing test trials tomorrow. Actually, we're starting off on test trials to see how many grams of mushrooms we can fit into each singular chocolate without it tasting too strongly like the mushroom and having too much of that consistency of the mushroom. But yeah, hopefully it works well, and hopefully we figure out a way to make it taste good.
That sounds like fun trials to me too. Like who has to try those?
And you remember to log it down, make sure they're logging down
Well,
all
I
the
do have
data.
a couple of people that I get to come with me and test out the chocolates as well. We're trying it with a couple different strains as well to see if the strain of mushroom affects the taste of the chocolate in the end as well. But yeah, we're definitely going to go through a good trial process to make sure that it's the best of the best. Yeah.
That sounds awesome and
That's my
fun.
kind of food science.
If you ever need
I
a
love
guinea
that kind of
pig
food
for
science.
your trials.
Possibly.
So tell us a little bit about competing in the Florida Cannabis Cup. We heard that you were this past year's winner. Congratulations on that. You have Look
Congratulations.
at that. Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, I competed for the first time this past April. I found out from a cannabis event. I saw them with their vending booth, and I was very curious about what they were doing. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Why not? Let me try it out. I ended up making, it was called the Rainbow Bar. It was quite a complex chocolate bar, if I'm going to be honest. So, like, my chocolates usually have 7 pieces, 7 full triangles within the chocolate. Each full triangle, I put a different color, and each color was filled with a different flavor ganache. So each and every tablet that you had was a different flavor experience and everything. Yeah.
Wow, that does sound very complex. So you
Yeah.
had to like when you created the bar, like you had to fill it with each different filling. Wow. And did the like color match the flavor that you
Yeah.
put in there?
Most of them, so like essentially like the red, for example, was cherry, then orange was orange, yellow was lemon, green was lime pistachio, blue I believe was rum coconut, then we had a dark blue was a coffee flavor, and then purple was lavender. So it
Wow.
essentially matched the flavor to the color. Yeah.
That's so creative. It's so
Wow, and all
creative.
of those flavors sound so
Yeah.
great. Lavender and coffee, please. Delicious.
And is that bar available? Like, because that sounds like it's difficult to make.
it was quite difficult. It was a couple weeks of trial processes as well, because I wanted to make sure that each flavor flowed into the next flavor. It was not too drastic of a change. It was quite difficult. I do think I've had a good amount of people requesting to try it again. So I think I may be coming out with
A
an
limited
update.
release.
Yeah, exactly. A
That's
limited
smart. Like
release.
a seasonal limited release, you do it every once in a while during a certain time of year. Maybe since it's rainbow during June, during Pride or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm relighting this.
That reminded me of that I watched this like reality TV show competition of like barbecue people who do like all kinds of different barbecue
Mm.
meats, and they had to do one where each meat they had to skewer a whole meat, like a whole like gaucho, how they do with the sword with the meats, and then each meat part had to be a different
Oh
Mm.
temperature.
yeah.
So I can only like that's what I compared that
Yeah.
to of like really nailing each part of that and making it, all consistent
Yeah,
too
yeah.
is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's quite a process. It's definitely a chemistry, is what I believe. Mostly with pastries and chocolates and stuff like this, it has to be to the point. That's why you have to do so many test trials before even coming out with a new product, to make sure that it will be consistent in the future and that it will taste the way that you want it to taste. So yeah, it did take a while to get it to the point that it was. I had a couple batches that just did not work, and yeah, but I love it. I mean, the science behind it, the calculations, the dosages, everything, it makes me happy.
That's awesome to find something that you love.
Even let me ask you this: working with chocolate is very difficult too because of the temperatures you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
What would you say is the hardest part? Like, what have you had to fine tune in terms of making your chocolates? Like, what part of it is the hardest that you've had to really fine tune?
So there's a lot of parts of it, if I'm gonna be.
I bet, I bet.
But so first off, when it comes to chocolate and the coloring that I have on outside of it, you have to temper everything. So that means you have to melt everything down, then you bring it up in temperature to a specific point, and then you have to bring it back down to a specific temperature. That goes with my airbrushing. It has to be, each color has to be a different temperature so that I'm able to airbrush or hand paint it. And same thing with my chocolates, my whites, my milk, and my dark. All three of them have different temperatures that I can work with it. That is definitely quite a complex process. I don't have machines to do this, so I'm doing everything by hand. And usually when I'm tempering chocolate, it takes a good 30 minutes to an hour of just mixing, reintroducing crystals and bringing the temperature back up. And it's quite a long process, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
figuring out the another big thing is the ganaches, because a lot of my chocolates are filled with different ganaches, and many ganaches don't have a very long shelf life. So I had to figure out a way to make caramelized ganaches so that they can last over 9 months, and to calculate this and to figure out recipes, because each fruit, each kind of recipe that or ingredient that you add into the ganache is going to change the consistency, is going to change the shelf life. You have to add in this and remove this and whatever. And it's definitely it's quite a complex process.
You
What
gotta
kind
get
of
your strategy right.
what kind of feedback and reviews have you gotten about your chocolate, and which would you say are like your most popular ones that people ask for or purchase the most?
Um, so like I tend to change the flavors that I come out with quite often. I have my three base chocolate bars that are top chocolate, so they're not ganache filled. So my cookies and cream, my 3D peanut brittle bar, and then my vegan dark chocolate honeycomb is three top chocolate bars that I will always have on stock. Then, I mean, like for example, I just came out with not too long ago a Nutella Temptation bar that has just been selling constantly. People absolutely love them. I have another one as well that's it's a coffee espresso bar. So it's like a milk dark chocolate coffee caramel ganache with a white chocolate coating. So I mean, I get good reviews from essentially every single. I mean, I haven't personally, I have not gotten a bad review on my chocolates in over 2 years since I really started getting into it. The first year there were some issues that I had to tweak out of it, you know. But since I take the time to test trial every single recipe, I get good results with every flavor that I come out with, you know. Yeah.
My God, all those sound amazing. Do
Yeah,
you
I
have
know
a
it's crazy.
favorite that's actually your preferred one?
Uh, at the moment, the Nutella one is my
Yeah.
favorite. I absolutely love it. It has like little roasted hazelnuts inside, a homemade Nutella, and then a nice milk chocolate outside, and it's perfection, I have to say.
And where can people find your chocolates? Do you have an online store? You also do events. I've seen you at some of the cannabis events I've been to. Do you
Yeah,
have
so
anything coming up?
at the moment, I'm not sure. I was thinking of going to Dab Day, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it to this next one
One in
coming.
Jacksonville?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
it's
too much
far.
of a drive for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I tried doing one up in Orlando a while back, and it was just such a struggle bringing all of the equipment over there and figuring out a way to bring everything back afterwards and not having everything melt or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
hot here.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's quite difficult, definitely. But to find me, I sell through my Instagram. I also have Telegram. TikTok I don't really use very often, but I have it's called my 360 site. So it's called mythc360.com. On this, you have all of my information going from contact to Telegram to Instagram to everything possible. And from there, you can choose whichever way you want to contact me, and I will send you a menu, and that's how it works. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Telegram is the most commonly used right now. Excuse me. Sorry.
Cool. Well, how did you get into why cannabis? What was your interaction with cannabis prior to saying, "Hey, I like doing
Before your
pastries.
friend was like, "Hey,
Let's
give me
throw these."
let's try this."
Well, my parents were hippies when I was younger. So we lived in a van for about 3 years. We traveled around the US. We went to festivals everywhere. We lived in Cali for 3 years as well. So since I was young, I was introduced to this lifestyle where cannabis was very accepted, you know. And I mean, I think I was around 14 years old when I first started consuming, not a great amount, but I was starting to consume myself. And in high school, I got very into it. I had my Rasta friends and stuff. You know, we loved cannabis ourselves, consuming it, and yeah, that's how I made the connection of both of my loves of making pastries and of consuming cannabis. You know.
So that's awesome. So your parents are totally cool with what you're doing. In fact, they probably encourage it, enjoy it themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, very, very great.
They might be the
They're
testers,
part,
Jay.
part
They
of the
might be the
trials.
testers. Yeah,
Sometimes, yes. I can't
smart.
deny. Yeah.
That's
We
great.
should have your parents on our show, dude.
Possibly, yeah. They actually, so they do charters themselves. They just got a sailboat or catamaran about 2 years ago.
Oh,
They
that's
completely
awesome.
reconstructed it, and they do charters. My mom is also hip tantra. She works in hip tantra, so very holistic and like couple counseling and sexual therapy and stuff like this. So they're very open-minded people. Like I've always been so grateful to have parents like this that I can ask whatever questions I need without feeling like I will ever be judged for it, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what are your long-term plans for
Mhm.
your pastry business?
So I definitely would love to open up first a wholesale kitchen, a production kitchen where I can start making large quantities of chocolates and reselling them to dispensaries. Um, at the moment, I'm contemplating if I want to stay here in Florida and wait until it's recreational, or if I want to try and move over or visit another state to see if there is a market for this kind of edible. Um, I'm kind of in the middle on that, but definitely start off with a wholesale line. I think it would be a good basis for me. And then from there, my dream is to open a completely infused French cafe where I have every
Mm.
single dish possible, customized dosages from salty to sweet to chocolate, even a little dispensary and a smoking area, and a whole open area where you can have luxury food all infused to your liking. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. I really hope you stay here in Miami and that
Yeah,
happens
I'm
here.
sold. I support it.
Because that sounds amazing. Amazing.
I hope
And
so.
we're going to need a lot more. What? Sorry. Can you get out, please?
Uh, it's the
Get out.
mom's
You're on
part.
camera. Get out. Go outside. Take the dogs with you, please. Go. You're not supposed to be in here. Sorry.
Take the
Julie, you're not
dogs
supposed to be in here. I was
out.
seriously, get up. Go. You gotta go. Come on.
I know. I heard mine screaming in the background, and I'm like, I hope it doesn't come out. I hope
Please take
everybody
the
doesn't
dogs
hear
with
my
you.
kids screaming at the top of the lungs over back there.
I'm
I'm just,
lucky. I have a reptile, and that's it.
he just snuck in here in the floor.
How funny. I saw him sneak underneath, and he was like, so
Like he,
funny.
he probably needs help with his homework. He's trying to finish it up.
Yeah, you're avoiding it. Oh my God, I hate the homework thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
and this is just first grade, and I'm just like, no. Find somebody else to do it.
Well, it looks like there's a good chance that it will be on the ballot for next election. So it's a good
Yeah,
chance it
Truly
might be
has put a lot of
recreational here
money.
soon.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't know how
sooner than
quick we'll
later.
get to the point where they'll allow like consumption lounges, like a place where you can consume in public, which we need
Will be
those because
beautiful.
like really I don't want to be I mean, I'm not a drinker. I don't want to go to bars. I want to go to a lounge and or like I went to
Yeah.
Amsterdam and you have some coffee and
Mm.
cannabis. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I hope this happens soon, but definitely it's a slow process here for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're living in the right time. It's finally coming in this country. It's just taking a long time.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else you want to share with our audience?
Mm, no, I don't know.
And that was Andrea P. Gasc. She was a French award-winning cannabis-infused chocolatier and pastry chef. It was great hearing how she got into it.
Mm.
You
And
can
those trials, those shroom trials for her shroom
her
chocolates
shroom
to come. That
chocolates.
looks. I was like, I
We're
want to
like,
be
oh
part of those
yeah,
trials.
we're trying to get into those trials. You can catch her at mythc360.com. You should follow her on Instagram and order her chocolates at Beau_Bon_Pastries. It's on the screen. You should be watching our
Mhm.
YouTubes.
Her the mythc360.com basically has access to all her socials, her Telegram where you can place orders and stuff. So check her out.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. We
We
appreciate
have
you.
reached the end of the show.
We gotta end the show song. Hey, if
You know
you're-
I want one.
Yeah, I know. Well, one day when my house is livable, we can
We can bang one out.
Yeah. Hey, patrons, we see you. We love you. Destiny,
Lauren,
Christine,
Denise,
Peaches,
Meredith,
Natalie,
Angelina,
Jenny,
Catherine,
Jay,
Jesse,
Diane,
Gabby,
Leslie,
and Selena. Thank you guys. We love you guys. We had so much fun.
Yeah, join us, become a patron. You can get additional content and just really like our Discord, smoke sessions, and all of the events and stuff that we do on there, all the trips that we
go
organize.
on.
I heard of a trip you guys are organizing,
I kind of spilled the beans already.
Yeah.
We said we were gonna wait a little bit,
which is
because we
fine.
knew you have so much stuff going
Oh my
on,
God,
so
I
we didn't
know.
want to even like make you think about it
No, but it would be nice to have something at the end
to
of
look
my
forward
tunnel.
to.
But yes, we're always planning trips because it feels good.
It's
It
a good
soothes the soul.
Pot Smoking Mom community. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, subscribe, rate, review, and share our content.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.